All right, everybody. Welcome to another bourbon show. This evening, we're going to be drinking something that calls itself whiskey that is not whiskey. But tonight, we're going to be drinking some Skrewball. Um, yeah, Skrewball. Peanut butter flavored liqueur that is not whiskey but claims to be. Steven, you've got the bottle right in front of you. Why don't you give us a label rating on this bad boy?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a lot of these that I've done a label rating for that it really doesn't matter.
No.
Like with Pappy or something like that. I think the ship has sailed on Pappy. I think the jury's in on Pappy. It's like, we can sit here and I can critique it and be like, I think they could move a few more units if they just move, you know what I mean? It's like, that's not the point. But with something like Screwball, I think it is important. I think that they're in a pretty competitive market. I think that you want to stand out. I don't know who was the first peanut butter whiskey to market. Maybe it was them. Maybe
Screwball.
Screwball.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now, either way, it's decently competitive, I think, and you want to stand out. You want to stay more than a fad, basically, right? So my first thought when I was looking at this is that I think their label is maybe more important than some of those.
Mhm.
And I think that it looks pretty cool. I think that it has kind of a cool industrial look. I think it has kind of a look like it almost looks like a nightclub. Like if you were just to see this without it saying peanut butter whiskey or anything like that, you might think this was like a nightclub aesthetic or something like that. And I think that's good because this bottle would look good in a bar or behind a bar at a nightclub or something like that, and you might order a shot of it. Um, I think it looks pretty cool. The like mixed paint sort of look for the brown sort of peanut buttery whiskey background on the little sheep or whatever. And I do like the repeating pattern of sheep in the background. Like we've talked about before, how if you have like sort of white space like this, just making an extra little detail there, and they did. I really like that. I also like how if you reverse the bottle, I don't know if this is true on yours, Dan, but if you reverse the bottle, there's a whole like definition for screwball and like pronunciation on the inside, which is cool. You can't really see it that well whenever you haven't drank much of it, but as you drink more of it, you can make it out. All that, it's pretty cool touches all the way around. Screwball is like etched in the side. I know it's not the label, but I think this is really cool overall. I'm giving it an 8, even though I don't think it's.
Wow.
I'm giving it some high praise, but I really think they did a good job with it, and I think it looks nice. And I would look forward to seeing if they make some more products, what that line would look like as well.
They did have a different bottle design. I mean, very similar, but it definitely isn't as sleek as this one is now. They kind of changed, just kind of tweaked it just a little bit, but compared to some other of the peanut butter whiskeys that the bottles are great, I think this one stands out. Do sell it, but there have been a lot of rip-off screwball competitors who it's like let's get it into the market now, let's pump it out, and you're like, oh, what the hell is that? Oh, it's peanut butter whiskey. So I think the biggest competitors are Squirrel and then PBW, which just stands for peanut butter whiskey. But I know Revelstoke has one now. I think Dan's favorite 99 Party Schnapps has a peanut butter whiskey. So I mean, it's a big segment right now in the market.
There's one called Ram's Point or some shit like that.
I haven't heard it. There's a new one every day. I feel like at this point,
people. I was looking around for this, and people were like, "Hey, we've got one that's less expensive," and I'm like, "Less expensive? What?" She's like, "Yeah, it's Ram's Point. It's peanut butter whiskey." I was like, "No, it won't work for this." But
yeah, and the price point on Screwball is a little higher than all the other ones in the market, and that's probably just them trying to get the peanut butter whiskey drinkers on their side. Like, I don't want to pay 25, $30. I'd rather pay 15, 20.
Yeah. And I mean, good on Screwball for like, it's their market. They started it. So they've got the name recognition, charge a little bit more. Like, I don't have a problem with that. $10 for a 200 milliliter though, that was a little bit like, are you kidding me? But I guess it's reasonable based on the SRP of like a full size bottle.
Airplane shots you'll find for like $3.99 at Binny's. So
really?
It's not a cheap, like, they're not cheapening themselves out in any way. They're, we're leading the segment. This is what we're charging, and you can drink something that doesn't taste as good.
Yeah.
and spend less. They don't seem to really care about lowering their price, which good on them.
And they've been
Yeah.
like pretty big on the marketing. I've seen a lot of like Screwball like ad spots on different podcasts and whatnot that I'll listen to, and you'll see that their bottle a lot of different places. So they're getting out there.
Yeah. I think that this is the first time ever on another bourbon show where what we're drinking tonight is something I've never drank before. I've never had Screwball before.
Really?
Yeah.
Neither have I.
You lying motherfucker. But one thing I wanted to bring up is I said earlier that it's a whiskey that they claim to be a whiskey, but they're not. And they're not because, okay, so this claims to be whiskey with natural flavors. They call themselves peanut butter whiskey, but in order to be whiskey, it's got to be bottled at 80 proof. And this is 70 proof. So it's not whiskey. It's a liqueur.
Oh, it's like Fireball,
But at least
66.6%. But no, they're cinnamon flavor. They say cinnamon whiskey on the bottle.
and it's only 66 proof.
It's not 80, yeah. So there's a bunch of brands calling themselves some. I mean, it's a liqueur. It just what sounds better, Screwball peanut butter liqueur, or I mean, it's a branding thing.
Yeah. And it's fine. I honestly don't give a shit. But I did want to point that out, that in order for it to be whiskey, it's supposed to be bottled at 80 proof, at least. But anyway, so yeah, I've never had Screwball before. I've heard tons of people talk about it before. I'm interested in giving it a go.
So
I was not a big fan of... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, what were you saying? You weren't a big fan of what?
I was not a big fan of us even doing this episode because I wanted to avoid drinking Screwball. But here we are. I lost. This is not a dictatorship. It's not a dantatorship. It's another bourbon show, and here we are drinking Screwball. So
I know you joked about not, like, if you couldn't find a small bottle, you would just mix the cheapest whiskey you find with peanut butter. And funny thing is, the guy who created this, he owns a few bars and restaurants in San Diego. I think it's called the OB Noodle House, and they have 3 of them out there. And his wife's a chemist, or used to be, but his house shot at his bar was like Jameson mixed with peanut butter, and that's how he got the idea. Yeah, that was his shot. And then he got the idea, like, oh, my wife's pretty much a scientist, like, let's make something good and do it. And they eventually did, and that's how it was started. But
no kidding.
To call back our Jameson episode, yeah, that's how he mixed peanut butter and Jameson. People loved it in San Diego for whatever reason, and then he's like, I'm going to make my own, capitalize off this. So I thought it was funny you said that. Yeah.
That connect. So that I said it because I thought it was funny. It's great that's how it actually like came into existence. And that also helps make a connection, because I did look up, like, normally I would go on and talk about the mash bill, but let's be honest here. If you're drinking Screwball, you don't give a shit about mash bill. Like, you don't care about that. You want something fun. It's like a Southern Comfort, right? Like, so I'm not gonna get into all those details, but I did see that the distillery is in California. And I was like, oh, weird. Like, there's not many distilleries in California, but that connects to what you were just saying. And now it makes sense to me why the distillery is in California. I figured they would have sourced their whiskey and then added the peanut butter. But no, it sounds like they distill it by the, like, right there.
Yeah, they've done,
themselves.
I mean, pretty homegrown operation. And they're licensed with Infinium, that has like Templeton Rye, Seagram's vodka, but they're pretty independent. They're, they have like a licensing brokerage type deal. But yeah, I mean, they started like 3 years ago, and they're probably doing 500,000 cases a year. It's pretty crazy.
I've got to tell you, the nose on this is amazing.
Dude, it's great. When I first
smells
had it,
phenomenal.
Yeah, when I first had it, I'm like, this can't be any good. And then I tried it. I was like, oh man.
Like, it's peanut butter,
popcorn,
caramel, honey, butter.
Yeah.
This note, I think it smells amazing. I think I'm a huge like peanut butter fan,
Yeah.
and I'm obviously a big whiskey fan as well. And when I first smelled it, that's what sold it to me as well. You know, I didn't think we've talked in the past about how like I don't really like a lot of like flavored whiskeys very much. I loathe Fireball, and Ryan subjected me to that for years. But
I hate it. I loathe it too.
but because we had that so much, I think I have sort of an aversion to this, you know, and or like pretty much anything. I have a wall up there. As soon as you like, you know, the cap is just crusted shut with sugar. I've mentioned that before. I hate that
Yeah.
shit. But then there's something about this where like I do like peanut butter, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll try it. And then you pour it for the first time, and usually in shot form. Like even so, I don't like typically have it like this on a Glencairn but it does have a great nose to it. It smells
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and it's not artificial or I mean they use actual. I mean it's actual peanuts. You know.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I didn't.
if you do have a peanut allergy, do not drink this because you will die.
Contains peanuts right there.
Yeah, it's real. I mean, I'm sure.
I noticed that just
Yeah,
now.
I'm sure a bunch of these peanut butter whiskeys are just artificially flavored like peanut butter. You know,
Yeah.
but this is the real thing.
This high class peanut butter whiskey right here.
High class. You know.
Well, we want to give it a go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm excited, Dan. I'm excited for you to try it.
All right, that's really fucking good.
Yeah, I wasn't lying to you.
No, that's really fucking good. Like, yeah, I'm impressed. It's really, really fucking good. I mean, I still taste the peanut butter in my mouth.
It's a long finish.
I still taste the honey and the caramel in my mouth. That is really goddamn good.
Wow,
And-
man. I mean, I felt like an idiot even suggesting it. You're like, oh, I don't know.
Same.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Last week I was like, you guys want to do Skrewball? I was like, but it's worth trying. I think if you like whiskey, I think it's okay to be excited about just weird whiskeys too. You know what I mean? Like new whiskeys that come out. And I don't think that you feel any differently, Dan.
Mhm.
But I get the aversion to it at first, like I was saying earlier. And I think that it can surprise some people that in its market, what it's trying to do, it's really good at.
Yeah, I mean it's really, really, really good. And you're right. I'm not against fun whiskeys, if you will. I was somewhat against this because to me it's like super gimmicky. And I'm not even against gimmicky things. But typically gimmicky things are not good. Right? Like, and that was my aversion to trying Skrewball. Like, it's a gimmick. It's probably going to taste like shit. But I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. That tastes really, really good.
Like the bottle compared to other peanut butter whiskeys is far less gimmicky than like what I've seen out there. Next time you go into like a Walmart, because I think they have like 2 or 3 different ones now. This is the one that doesn't look cheesy and tastes the best. So good on them. And I was going to say too, my uncle, my mom's brother, my uncle who parties, all he drinks is Skrewball Old Fashions, which is Skrewball, Templeton Rye 6-year, some bitters, Luxardo cherries, you know, mix it all together. He'll drink like 12 of those in a night. I don't know how he does it, but he loves it. I mean, it's a pretty good drink. You know, you have 2 or 3 of them before it gets, you know, too sweet. But yeah, they have a bunch of cocktails too. I mean, it's good. I mean, if you drink half a bottle in the night, you will be hungover from the sugar. But besides that,
oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, this isn't something that like I'm gonna drink on a regular basis. It's not something that I have any interest in having more than like 2 or 3 shots or small pours in an evening. Like, here, okay, so this is fine to sip on. It tastes really good to sip on. There's no burn. There's no Kentucky hug. It's so smooth and like literally jam packed with flavor, like so many different crazy flavors. But it is really syrupy. It is like I drink probably more coffee than I do bourbon, and so we've got a nice espresso machine upstairs. And sometimes my wife like wants some of that Tirani or Toronto, whatever it is, coffee syrup, and like that you would use in Starbucks or whatever. This has about the same consistency as that. It's got the same sweetness of that. So I'm not gonna sit here and drink much of it, but it tastes really damn good. And it really does have the same consistency.
Pour it in her coffee tomorrow, see if she notices.
Give her a DUI on the way to work.
Yeah, I agree. That's the one thing that you kind of feel whenever you're drinking it is like you're just like, this is kind of like I'm putting battery acid into my body, isn't it? But it's so, like you said, it's smooth, it's good. It's something that I'm not gonna like shy away from having shots of because of a really abrasive flavor. Like you said, you can sip this and it's fine. I don't know a single person that would ever sip Fireball. Like even Ryan, I don't think would ever sip Fireball. You could sip this if you wanted to, and that's a testament to it.
Mm-hmm. And Ryan, you said something earlier about like some people drink it like you prefer it hot.
Yeah, I just like it room temperature. Yeah, I mean, you'll see it at bars a lot, frozen, in the freezer.
Yeah, I like it
cold
chilled
when you get it,
personally.
but I feel like you get more of the flavors when it's room temperature. To me,
For
at
sure.
least.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
is why I like it a
sure.
little more.
But I think it's still a good flavor when it's chilled, and I think it makes a good shot chilled, especially like in the summer. It's more refreshing, and I think it just like I've always liked like peanut butter stuff. Like I like putting like Reese's peanut butter cups in the fridge or something like that. And to me, it just like I don't know, it's something probably with like the peanut butter oil. I think just interacts well with a cold temperature. But typically, I don't like whiskey chilled, so I can see the justification either way.
Yeah, I mean, this
Yeah.
is my go-to shot when I'm out now. Like, my dad hates it for whatever reason. He sticks to Fireball, and I mean, I still do Fireball a lot too. But everyone, you have so much cinnamon whiskey, you're like, oh man, I just need a break. Kind of like what you said earlier, Steven. I need a break, do something else, just because I've been doing the same thing for 10 years now. And Skrewball is a good replacement for that, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think like this is my second little like I've probably had like little half-ounce pours, like not even a full ounce pour. This will probably be my last half-ounce pour, just because it's so sweet. And I think that it would, like if I was doing shots of it, I think one shot and I'd be like, okay, sugar overload. Like that's enough of the sweetness. Give me something different.
Yeah.
Do you guys mix with it? I liked hearing about your uncle's Old Fashioned. That was a neat idea. Have you like tried it with like Chambord or anything?
Oh, actually, yeah, peanut butter and jelly shot. Yeah, so that's a popular shot out there right now. It's Chambord's a black raspberry liqueur. So you'll go to a bar and
Fanciest
usually-
looking fucking bottle.
Oh yeah,
Chambord has got the
Yeah.
fanciest bottle,
it's
in my
cool.
opinion.
It looks good. Have you seen a 750 of it? It's fucking huge.
No, I haven't.
It's a big bottle. It's a big bottle. Yeah, it's a good like I've seen like Christmas tree ornament and stuff like that. But yeah, the peanut butter jelly shot is pretty popular too. I like it just regular though.
I
Okay.
heard about a peanut butter cup shot where you combine some amount of this with some amount of Godiva chocolate liqueur. It's
Yeah,
really good.
that's a popular one too. Yeah.
And I mentioned this before, and somebody said that the Godiva chocolate liqueur is like gone now. I think, or it's like being
So-
discontinued.
No, in one of my stores I saw it was, but there was a pretty big shortage of it. I think just because of COVID, people were buying it up to
Okay.
make cocktails.
I
So
see.
I'm starting to see it a little more now, but I know their dark chocolate one's really popular too, and people love mixing that. People mix it in their coffee every morning. When they launched this at our job, they had a breakfast coffee bar, and it was Skrewball and coffee and like lattes of Skrewball in it. It was pretty cool. I'm like, all right, I can drink this in the morning.
Oh, I could see this being great in coffee.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
again, it's the same like viscosity as coffee syrup. It's just as sweet as coffee syrup. So if you like peanut butter coffee, then hell, that'd be great.
It's funny you actually like it, man. I still can't believe it.
I'm surprised by how much I like it. I didn't think I'd hate it. I thought I would regret it though. Like, I thought I would regret being like, man, I just feel like crap after I've, like that syrupy stuff that you're talking about, Steven, where the cap sticks to the bottle. It just makes me feel disgusting.
Yes.
Not that it doesn't taste good. It just makes me feel like crap. And I expected that this would be a mediocre taste and still give me that crappy feeling. And maybe I will still feel like crap. I don't know. But at least now I have an excuse for feeling like crap.
You guys ever feel like, I think everybody feels this way, but like how strong does it hit you guys whenever you're having fast food? Like if you have like a full fast food meal, like if you get like a burger, fries, and a drink, like all like regular size, you guys, does it hit you just how indulgent that is? Like if you get a soda and everything, like typically like, so just as context, I'm somebody when I used to have acid reflux really bad as a kid. So there was like a long portion of my life where I never had soda or anything. So I'm kind of conditioned to think of as soda as like this super indulgent thing, which I think it is, but a lot of people just, I think you get used to having it. But when I'm sitting there and I'm having a burger, a fries, with a burger with like everything on it, like mayo and shit, and then you have a full thing of fries, and then you have like a soda this big, like middle of the day, you're like, what the hell am I doing? This is disgusting.
Is that you pretty much every day, Ryan?
Every other day, probably.
And I'm not saying I don't have fast food, obviously. I mean, everybody does, right? But it really hits me. I'm just like, not only did I have to have like all this food, but then I was like, for the drink, put a bunch of syrup in some carbonated water.
Dude, a Coke from McDonald's though, man.
Oh.
I could drink that shit all day. I mean, there's nothing better.
So I don't know that I feel like, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Right.
No,
Ryan.
you go to all the other restaurants, their Coke tastes like shit. I don't know what they do.
Well, you said there's nothing better, and I will contest that it's better to have legs when you're in your 60s.
Have all of your toes.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of, I've got an uncle that's missing like 4 toes from diabetes. So
I got a grandpa with an extra pinky. He's got an extra pinky right here. It goes, it's like
really?
That. Yeah.
Is he from Green Bay, Wisconsin?
I knew you were going to.
Does he wear shoes?
He does have shoes. Actually, let me think. No, I think he's a Bears fan. He likes Chicago teams. He likes the Cubs and stuff like that. So, unfortunately for you, he's more of a Chicago fan.
Damn it. So, has he just never been able to wear like a winter glove in his life, or can he order a custom one?
That's your concern is glove wearing?
You just tuck it.
You just tuck it?
No,
I guess he could mittens. I guess that's what mittens are for.
He's a fucking man, and he doesn't wear gloves. He doesn't have dainty, fucking fragile skin.
Yeah, I think he just goes gloves. I have calluses. What are you talking about? He's like, I built this country, kid.
Max the Pinky gives me warmth.
I'm sure he got made fun of a lot growing up.
I don't know. I feel like there was worse shit going on when he was going through school. I don't know. I feel like it was like, the Great Depression. It's like, look at that kid with the little thumb. It's like we're in the Dust Bowl. Okay, like it doesn't matter. That kid's dead. He's in the corner dead. Who cares about the kid with the?
But as far as like fast food goes, I wouldn't necessarily say that I feel indulgent. I do feel disgusting though.
Yeah.
Like depending on where it's from, right? Like so like the most recent place I had fast food from was Sonic. And like to me Sonic is like it's up there pretty decent, right? Like it's not a 10 out of 10 as far as fast food goes, but it's a whole lot better than like Hardee's or McDonald's or Wendy's. But if I have especially McDonald's, like I can only have McDonald's on very rare occasions. It just messes my stomach up really bad because it's just so damn processed. They had one of the things they had on their menu for a while was like a crispy buttermilk chicken breast or something like that. That I could have because like I would bite into it and it's like chicken. Like you can look at it and you know when you bit in where you bit in, that's chicken. Um, but so many of their chicken selects, they used to have those for a while. Their chicken selects were fine for the same exact reason. You knew what you were eating. Like if I took a bite and showed Ryan, hey, what is this? You'd say chicken. With a chicken nugget, if I bite into it and show it to you, sponge? I don't know.
I just had their new spicy chicken sandwich, and it was like compared to the McChicken, I'm like, oh yeah, this is real chicken.
Mm-hmm.
It actually tastes good.
Yeah.
You know, so same story. Yeah. What's your favorite fast food place then?
Mine?
Yeah.
For like what kind of fast food? Like burgers or?
I mean, you could just group all of them together.
This is terrible, but probably my very favorite one is probably Long John Silver's. And that like I always get like I don't eat there very often, but it's always the same thing. They're clam strips. I love clams. I fucking love clam strips. And so I'll go to Long John Silver's, gets clam strips with some corn. Typically I get a side of corn and then the deep fried
and a root beer float
dough balls. What are they called?
Joining A&W.
Oh yeah,
a hush puppy then?
A hush puppy. There you go.
Yeah. Corn
and a hush puppy with some clam strips.
I mean, if there's something you can trust out of a drive-through, it's clam. You know what I mean?
It's deep fried.
Well, I'll tell you, my favorite fast food is probably between Wendy's and Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And I think that in both cases, I typically would. Now, Wendy's recently got rid of it, but I used to like their wraps, like their chicken wraps and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but for some reason, to your point, Dan, about the processed stuff, it's always burgers are like the worst, probably because of the meat, but also the bun just seems to be like terrible. Like when you have a Big Mac or something, I swear the part that's like the worst is the bun, and I don't know. It's weird, but if you get tortilla or something, I feel so much better instead. Same ingredients. Like they used to have a Mac snack wrap at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Much better feeling afterwards than the regular Big Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you completely about the bread too. The bread and the bread and burgers, for some reason from like McDonald's, any of those huge ones, that's my issue with it. Hey, do you guys have Freddy's?
Yeah, Jesse and I go there sometimes. They got
Freddy's is really good.
Too.
Gives me the shit.
What doesn't give you the shits, Ryan?
No, honestly, like every time I have Freddy's, it's like game over for me. I love their burgers. I love the smashed patty.
Yeah.
It just I don't know if it's like the seasoning doesn't sit well with me, but it's every single time I wake up at 2 a.m, like, oh no. But to that point, the smash burger, I mean, Culver's is pretty delicious.
Yeah,
and
Culver's
actually seems like real food.
Yeah. You know? Like 3 years ago, before Freddy's was in this area, I would have said Culver's, yes. But now, like, to me, Freddy's is so much better than Culver's that, like, I don't even think about Culver's anymore.
Well, you guys want to go ahead and give this guy a rating?
That's exactly what I was doing, man. Did you know what I was going to do it? And you scooped me? You scooped me, you son of a bitch?
You got fucking scooped, dude.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
Dan,
I'll
go
start.
First.
I was gonna say I'll start. So it's really good. It's really good. I'm shocked by how good it is. But I still can't give it more than like a 6.4. And my reasoning for that is because I drank as much as I possibly could tonight because of the sugar content, and that's all that's missing. Right? Like I could not drink another glass of this, even another little half-ounce pour, because it's just so syrupy, so sugary. But it's really, really good for what it is. It's fun. I will not hesitate to drink this if I'm out and Ryan, next time you're down, we can do a shot of this. Okay. one shot. I ain't doing 3 shots of it throughout the night. I'm doing one fucking shot of this all night long, and then maybe we'll do a shot of Jaeger, and then we'll do a shot of Fireball. I don't give a shit. But one shot of of Skrewball, sure, I'll do that anytime. Well, not anytime. Most nights, if I'm out partying, yeah, I'll do a shot of Skrewball.
If you say you'll do a shot anytime, you'll have 3 name-offs show up behind you in the mirror at 7 a.m.
Exactly. That's why I had to correct myself. I know enough name-offs to know that don't make the claim you'll do a shot anytime. But no, it's good stuff, and I feel like I can convince Annie to like try a mixed drink with this, and she'll probably enjoy it. So yeah, really good, but still only a 6.4 based on the like really high sugar content. But it's good.
I'll go next, I guess. I was also going to give it a 6.4, which I think is an insane rating for our scale, you know?
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of this podcast, Dan was making a joke to us, or at least we kind of mentioned it, but basically Dan was saying he was going to take like just a bottom shelf whiskey, mix it with some peanut butter, and then that was going to be his Skrewball if he couldn't find it at the price he wanted. And I think that, you know, it's a real testament to it that all of a sudden you're saying, it's actually about almost a full 1.5 higher than just an average whiskey or just, you know, bottom shelf whiskey. It's pretty good for another bourbon show, coming off some of these times where we've had Pappy on it, we've had Weller Full Proof, we've had all these like heavy hitters. For that to get such a high rating and for us not to be constantly qualifying it with for what it is, we're just saying it's a 6. You know, it's huge praise. Don't overlook that 6.4 rating we're giving it. And I totally agree with everything Dan said.
Well, I'm giving it a 7.0 because I think it's the best liqueur on the market. I don't really think you could find anything better to shoot. It goes great in cocktails. I mean, I can't say enough about it. I mean, like Dan said, you can only drink so much before you're like, all right, the sugar is a little too much, but the taste is all there. I mean, it's like natural flavors. It's not artificial. There's nothing fake about it. If I'm out, that's what I'm doing a shot of for sure until I can't do it anymore because, you know, I don't want to be hungover as shit the next day. But yeah, it's a 7. I mean,
they have to amputate, and I have my amputation appointment coming
up. Yeah, exactly. I think like if we had like a separate like I'm never gonna rate another liqueur higher than this if we ever do one, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it says a lot.
No, I think it does. And like to me, like the fact that it tastes like peanut butter is not at all surprising. It's peanut butter whiskey. If it didn't taste like peanut butter, there'd be a problem. What really like killed it for me was the fact that there's also so many other flavors. The caramel, the butter, all of those other flavors that come out of it. I don't know if their other flavors are natural or like added. I don't know, but like they say that it's all natural flavors. So I don't know, but it's good stuff. There you go. There you have it.
Ryan, I just realized you kind of look like a McDonald's manager right now because of that polo.
Like that, yeah.
I think it's very fitting for our conversation earlier.
Yeah,
it matches my belt and my shoes. So, well,
are you wearing clown shoes right now? Is that what you're saying?
I have a nice brown belt and brown pair of shoes. You know, I can't sit in my t-shirt all day in my basement. You know, someone's got to look presentable. So, I tried to do it today.
So I'm rocking my Willie Nelson shirt.
Ryan always goes to this.
He does.
Like he's
that's his one out.
Rather than just defend the shirt he's wearing on its own merits, he's got to like drag you down and be like, "This was my only recourse, man. I had to. I'm a man of the street.
I'm a laborer." Last week or the week before, when he's like, "Oh, I'm so sore. I threw 150 cases today."
Right. Or just like even 20
fuck
minutes.
You.
20
You're
minutes
29 years old.
20 minutes ago, he's like, "How did your grandpa get his gloves on in the winter?"
another bourbon show.